Awesome. Oh, great. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm really excited to share with you the story of my grandparents, of their separation. You see, my grandfather, Enos Jackson, left my grandmother, Beryl Ellis, the same year that Jamaica got its independence from the UK. He left her with 5 sons, and the youngest one couldn't have been any older than 3 months when he left. He was in search of a better life in England, and he already had a son from a previous marriage named Samuel Jackson. Can't make this up. And Samuel was living in the English countryside, and so one day Enos left and he never came back. The last time I talked to my grandma, she casually mentioned that she had been debating whether or not to go to England after Enos to go kill him. But she moved to Philadelphia instead. Now when she told me that, I felt my whole body do a double take. Grandma, what? Why would you do that? She looked at me hard. An unresolved anger, over 50 years old, bubbled from her mouth, spilled down her housecoat, over the blue carpet, all the way to me where I sat on the plastic-covered couch. Him left me alone with 5 white picnic? She huffed, then let it drop. Now, it wasn't the first time I heard that story, but it was the first time I was hearing it from her mouth. It was the first time I really felt the weight of her words. What does it mean to be so angry with someone that you're willing to take their life even 50 years later? I love my grandma, y'all. Like, I just love her so much. I mean, I was born in her hands, right? And can I get the first slide of, there she is. That is my grandma. She's beautiful, right? Her birthday's coming up, fellow Cancers. She is born on July 21st. And I have no idea what to get her. I asked my mom about it, and she told me to write her a letter, to use my best cursive, and to not mention any of the gay stuff. I asked my dad, and he could barely hear me over the bad phone connection, the 1,500 miles, the last time since we've talked, about 10 years ago. I asked my Uncle Mark, and he said to get her a pack of white t-shirts. It's a true story. I asked the grandma be in my head, and she said, give me the story of my first husband, fill in the blanks, and make it better. So this is what I came up with. You guys look great. You guys ready? Yeah. Okay. Next slide. So there's a picture of my grandma that sits on the very top shelf in the cupboard in her living room. It's about the width of my whole hand and maybe twice as long. Whenever my uncles talk about their mom as a young woman, this is always the picture they describe. A nearly white woman with long, wavy hair that falls down to the middle of her back. She's wearing a crisp white uniform with 3 gold buttons on the jacket, and a white hat on top of her head. She's standing behind an empty chair, and the look on her face, it's, right? I once overheard my grandma say that this is how she liked to be remembered, so we start with this one. Next slide. Oh, yeah. This is Jamaica, as I remember it. There are all these beautiful houses, all brightly colored, all made out of cement blocks. And there are a couple cars along some of the driveways, along the road. The road is a dusty brown. There are a lot of trees here. There are palm trees, and mango trees, and breadfruit trees, and gin plum trees. It's really lush here, right? I guess you could call this area the suburbs. This is where my Auntie Patsy lives. That's her house, actually. I spent a lot of time at that house. And that's her porch right over there. I spent a lot of time on the porch, too. I remember as a baby, I was on the porch with my mom and my aunt, and we were waving and saying hi to all the people we knew. And we saw this unfamiliar man run across the street, and as a baby, I saw that man, I looked at him, and I said, "Thief, thief!" Thief, right? I thought he was stealing something. Back then, I thought that only guilty people ran away. And apparently that was my very first word. Okay, so this seems like a good place to see how much you guys know about Jamaica. So, we're gonna play a little game. Okay? And the person who wins the game will get, let's see, about £1 in change. You guys get excited, it's like $1.50. You get soda, get some candy. So, all right, you guys want to play?
Yeah.
All right. First question. This is an easy one. What are the colors in Jamaica's national flag?
Green, yellow, black, and white.
Green, yellow, black, and white. Not quite. Anyone else?
Green, yellow, black, and red.
Green, yellow, black, and red. Not quite.
Green, yellow, black, and gold.
Yeah. Or black, green, and gold. Yeah. Exactly. And do you know what those colors stand for?
For the land, for the people, for the riches stolen.
Yeah. That's close. Yeah. So green is for the land. I grew up being told that black is for the people too. But black is actually for the hardships that the country has faced. And gold is for the sun. Okay. Next question. 1 point to you. What is Jamaica's national bird? What is Jamaica's national bird? No one? What is America's national bird? Okay, what's Jamaica's national bird? It's the doctor bird. It's a kind of hummingbird.
Hummingbird?
Yeah.
Someone over here might have said hummingbird.
Someone said hummingbird?
I said it.
All right, 1 point here. Yeah. All right. This one's really easy. What is Jamaica's national fruit?
Aki.
Breadfruit? Who said Aki? Aki. You've seen the show before.
No, but I
Did you know
went to
before?
Jamaica. I went to Trinidad and I knew Jamaica. So
Okay,
like,
all right. I'll give it to you. Did anybody else know that? Raise your hand if you knew it. Okay, 2 people. Can we get the next slide? Here's a picture of an Aki fruit, for those of you who did not know that. Next question. How much is $1 Jamaican dollar worth in British pound sterling? How much is $1 Jamaican dollar worth in British pound sterling?
Very
One. $1 Jamaican dollar is worth $1. 1 pound.
No.
No. Any other guesses? $1 Jamaican dollar is worth 0.0053 pence, right? So 100 Jamaican dollars is about 53 pence. Yeah. Right. So when I saw my grandma last, for those of you who don't know, I studied abroad in England. I lived there for about 1.5 years. And I came back to see my grandma, obviously. And when I saw her, I showed her my British money. I said, "Look, Grandma, feel how heavy it is." She took it from my hand and started counting. 1 pence, 2 pence, 5 shilling, 10 shilling. And I said, "No, Grandma, look. 1p, 2p, 5p, 20p. But she was gone. She wasn't listening anymore, right? England could have at least left us their money.
It's strange how, although our standards of material beauty alter through the ages, the loveliness of nature, symbolized by settings like these in the Caribbean, never fail to enchant us. This, then, is Jamaica, an exotic blend of old world and new, where traditional forms of travel, like the cutout canoe, make a striking contrast with giant ships of the air that today link the West Indies with other parts of the world. age of speed, a long way has become literally round the corner. Planes from New York, 1,600 miles away, land at Montego Bay Airport barely 6 hours later, while the twice-weekly strata cruiser service from London, a distance of 5,000 miles, is only 26 hours flying time. Even the islands are linked by air, and these days canoes, for example, are used for other activities like fishing. The word Jamaica comes from the Spanish and means land of wood and water, which becomes more apparent as one gets to know the island. For as though the seashore was not beautiful enough, in the foothills of the Blue Mountains, we find the Rio Grande. In fact, one of the tourist attractions is a journey by raft along the 7.5 miles of river through terrain unparalleled in its splendor and beauty.
Next slide, please. Is anybody familiar with this picture?
Like Jamaica.
Looks like Jamaica. Almost. Has anybody seen this boat? Anybody familiar with the name of this boat? No? When I asked my dad how his father got to Jamaica, he told me that Enos Jackson traveled by banana boat, and to stop asking so many questions about a dead man.
Arrivals artillery. The Empire Windrush brings to Britain 500 Jamaicans. Many are ex-servicemen who know England. They served this country well. In Jamaica, they couldn't find work. Discouraged but full of hope, they sailed for Britain. Citizens of the British Empire coming to the mother country with good intent. Prodded by public opinion, the Colonial Office gives them a more cordial reception than was at first envisaged. Many are to be found jobs. Our reporter asks them what they want to do.
Now, why have you come to England? To seek a job. And what sort of job you want? Any type, so long as I get a good pay.
Some will go into industry, others intend to rejoin the services.
Now, you're ex-Air Force, aren't you?
Yes.
Are you going back to the Air Force game?
Yes,
Did you know you'll be accepted?
I think so.
Some plan to return to Jamaica when conditions improve.
I'd like to ask you, please, are you a single man?
I am a single man. Only my mother that is depending on me. And I'm also an ex-serviceman.
Ex-service,
RAF. I took a course in Scotland in case making, and I'm desirous of going back there to see if I can further, because I like it very much. And I'm trying to help myself and also help my mom.
The spokesman sings his thanks to Britain.
Now, may I ask you your name?
Lord Kitchener.
Lord Kitchener. Now, I'm told that you are really the king of calypso singers. Is that right?
Yes, that's
One of the
true.
sing for us?
Right now.
Yes.
London is the place for me to go. London, this lovely city. You can go to France or America, India, Asia or Australia, but you must come back to London City. Well, believe me, I am speaking broad-mindedly. I am glad to know my mother country. I've been traveling the countries years ago, but this the place I wanted to know, darling London. This the place for me.